Ahoy, listeners! Welcome back to my channel. What can I get ya? A Steve Harrington fanfiction, you say? Oh, well, lucky for you, I have one ready to go! Woo! Okay, I know you guys didn't vote for this fanfiction, but I feel like Steve Harrington is like the underdog, and we all love the underdogs, right? And we just want him to rise to the top. And I feel like Steve Harrington has been kind of blocked by Peter Parker, and I love Peter Parker. Don't get me wrong, I love that boy, but I feel like everyone deserves a chance, so I'm gonna give Steve a chance. He's been waiting in the corner for like a year now. I've had this fanfiction for like a year. A whole odd year. I was a whole different age when I read it for the first time. But it's okay. We're bringing him in today, and I promise to deliver you the Peter Parker fanfiction next. I swear on my channel that I will bring it to you. That's all I got for the intro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to go and support the author because we love authors in this community. And the fanfiction as well as the music, and if there are any sound effects in this video, will all be linked in the description below. So make sure to go and check that out. Alrighty, let's get into this video. My crew, hardy har. There was melted ice cream dripping onto his hand. It left a sticky pink line down his tan skin as he held the cone out towards the lady who was too busy gabbing to her friend and not paying attention to the fact that Steve had been holding her frozen treat out in front of him with a fake smile for at least a minute. This job fucking sucked. Ahoy! He said after another 15 seconds of waiting. She turned around, blinking at him, before her pink nails snatched the half-melted ice cream from him. You have a good day, ma'am. He turned around for a moment to ask the manager, a way too eager 22-year-old named Dan, if he could take his break soon. Just before he can get a word out, someone cleared their throat. His stomach sank. Just once, could people take a break from eating ice cream? It was 4 in the afternoon. People needed to stop. Eat a burger or something. Excuse me? A soft voice called. Steve's shoulders tensed up, eyes widening as he slowly swiveled his body to face the owner of said voice. He could feel the blood leaving his face as he made eye contact with you. Steve, you work here? Oh, hey, MC. What's up? What are you doing here? His heart was pounding hard in his chest. You were supposed to have left for the summer. Something about visiting grandparents on the East Coast. At least, that's what Max had said. That's what Max had said that Billy had said. That asshole! Steve was jerked out of his thoughts as you tilted your head, a small smile playing on your lips. Huh? I'm sorry, what? I said that I was here to get ice cream. You still sell that, right? Your smile was sliding into a little smirk. Steve was going to lose his mind. His crush on you had started somewhere in the 9th grade, and had continued on and on. Sure, when he had been dating Nancy, the crush had faded into the back of his mind, but it had still been there, that interest in you. Once he and Nancy had called it quits, though, the crush returned with a shrieking vengeance. Yes, we do. He was painfully aware of the paper hat that was shoved onto his head, and the ungodly sailor's outfit he was wearing. He wanted a hole to open up in the linoleum floor so he could sink into it. What are you looking to get? Just a chocolate cone with sprinkles. Coming right up, he said, shooting you a grin as he grabbed one of the cones. You want soft served or hand dipped? Hand dipped, please. You took a few steps over to follow him towards the freezer filled with tubs of ice cream. So, weren't you supposed to be visiting grandparents somewhere east of here? No. Who told you that? Steve shrugged. He was going to murder Hargrove in cold blood. Just heard it around. Didn't think I'd be seeing you around this summer. Were you planning on seeing me this summer? He started to scoop the ice cream onto the cone, making sure that he gave you bigger scoops than normal. His voice was muffled due to the freezer, but his stuttering still made you smile. It's okay if you were. I did make a great bio partner this year. Steve straightened up as he laughed, stepping backwards towards the sprinkles. Right, sure, says the one who almost failed us on that final project. I did not almost fail us. That was on you. You watched as he dumped a bunch of sprinkles on top, coating the entire thing until you couldn't see a speck of chocolate ice cream. Oh, because I almost didn't catch your mistake? Yeah, actually, that's exactly why. You almost made us fail because you didn't catch my mistake. The wide grin that you were giving him was assuring him that you were only kidding. You both knew that it was a miracle either of you passed that class with a B. So how's life post-graduation? You shrugged your shoulders as he wrapped a napkin around the bottom of the cone. He held his hand out, smiling. It's going. I'm trying to avoid thinking about anything beyond summer, really. Your words are cut off as he reached for the ice cream, your fingers brushing against his. He held eye contact with you, despite the fact that his stomach was doing somersaults with some of the other internal organs. How much do I owe you? It's on the house, he said. Holding the ice cream near your mouth, you paused. Steve, come on, how much is it? It's on the house, MC. From one bio buddy to another. Just take it. He let out a huff and he shook his head, smirking. You'll owe me one, alright? So we can be square then. You're not gonna get in trouble for this, are you? Steve's expression softened as his heart gave another painful tug. I promise you, I'm not gonna get in trouble. They need me more than I need them. Trust me on this. You watched him for a moment longer before taking a lick of your ice cream, your eyes sliding shut to relish the taste of it. The back of his neck warmed as his eyes followed the movements of your tongue. It took him a second too long to realize that he was staring. He ducked his head and let out a soft laugh. You opened your eyes, tracing his expression as he looked back over to you. His heart jerked in his chest. Thanks, Steve. It's no problem, he said as you started to walk towards the door. I'll see you around, he called, eyes wide and hopeful. You turned around and shot him a quick grin. Yeah, I'll see you around. A couple seconds later and Dan sidled over to Steve. There was miraculously no one in line for ice cream. The bathroom needs cleaning, Harrington. Yes, they do, Danny boy. Yes, they do. He drummed his fingers on the counter, playing your words over and over in his head. A couple seconds later, Dan cleared his throat. Steve turned his head a little and looked over to his manager. Was that a general statement, or did you want me to do something? Just clean the bathroom, Steve. We can't have it dirty for our shipmates. Steve looked at the guy that was only a few years older than himself for a moment before shaking his head and heading towards the bathroom. He kept seeing that grin that you had given him, and for once, cleaning the toilets wasn't too bad. So when you clean the bathroom, do you call it swapping the poop deck? Dustin asked as he and the rest of the party crowded around the counter. Steve rolled his eyes. No, I don't, because a poop deck is a deck that forms the roof of a cabin in the back of a ship, shithead. It's not literal poop. It's Italian or something. French, actually. Well, French and Latin, you chimed in, leaning your hip against the freezer. Steve could feel his face warming up when he looked over to you. You'd followed through on your promise to see him around, and repaid him for the ice cream that same night by bringing him food from the food court at the end of his shift. The two of you had ended up sitting on the hood of his car for hours afterwards, just leaning back against the window and talking. From then on, you'd stopped in almost every day he was working. Most of the time, you wouldn't grab anything to eat, just snagging an empty booth in the back and reading or working on some summer classes you had taken at the local college. On his breaks, Steve would plop down across from you and start rambling on about whatever weird customer he dealt with that day. Everything had been going well, until Dustin had wandered in one day while Steve was sitting across from you. And when he noticed just how much Steve was smiling and laughing, then it was game on for Dustin Henderson. He'd been meaning to play matchmaker for Steve, and you were perfect for the plan. You're really smart, MC, Dustin said, smiling sweetly over at you. He turned his head, the smile only widening when his eyes landed on his pseudo-big brother. You're really into smart people, aren't you, Steve? I'm into people who order their ice cream and leave, man. You're holding up the line. Dustin turned around. The rest of Scoops Ahoy was empty. He turned around and glared at Steve. You're being rude. I'll report you to Captain Dan. Steve sighed, trying to bite back another shithead, while you chuckled softly. His chest twisted pleasantly. Okay, guys, I think we better leave First Mate Steve alone. He might send us to the bridge, you said, grinning at him. He glanced around, making sure none of his co-workers were looking, before flipping you off. You gasped. How dare you do such a thing, sailor? I'll have your head for this. Dustin grinned over at Steve, nodding his head towards you in an obvious manner, while the rest of the party simultaneously ate their ice cream and argued over pirate speak. They lingered for a couple more minutes, polishing off their desserts, just as a group of teenagers started to crowd into the shop. Everyone said their goodbyes, waving to Steve as the group approached the counter, rattling off their orders almost too fast for Steve to get. By the end of the evening, Steve felt dead on his feet. He'd ended up closing, which was always the worst. His head ached and his back was sore. All he wanted was to get home, eat some leftover pizza, and then pass out face first in his bed. But by the time he spotted his car in the parking lot, all that went out the window. You were sitting cross-legged on the hood of his car, an open box of pizza and a bottle of soda beside you. You grinned at him and held up a half-eaten slice of pizza in the air as a greeting. Ahoy, matey! You yelled. Steve just shook his head. It was hard to act annoyed when butterflies were holding a riot in his stomach. What are you doing? I was hungry and figured you were hungry, so I thought we could be not hungry together. You took another bite of your pizza, scooting over as Steve hopped onto the hood of his car. He grabbed a slice and started right in. How was the rest of your shift? He shrugged, motioning to his mouth that was full of pizza. It was fun, he said, his words muffled by the cheese and crust. He swallowed, shaking his head. It was fine. It was non-stop after you guys left, which made it go by fast. You hummed in response. The two of you fell silent after that, both content with eating your pizza and taking turns drinking the soda. After the pizza was polished off, you set the box on the roof of the car, scooting towards Steve a little. Your back against the windshield. By then, the parking lot was emptied out, the stars starting to come out. A couple lights in the parking lot made them faint, but they were there. You know I like you, right? Your voice was quiet, but it made Steve freeze all the same. He turned his head to face you as his body felt like it was being set on fire. Because I do. I like you a lot. What? You do? Steve, I sit in an ice cream parlor in the mall every day just to hang out with you. Friends do that. None of your other friends do that? They're like 14. They don't know how to be nice to people. He let out a snort of a laugh at that, making Steve grin. Despite how nervous he was still proud that he could make you laugh. I never knew that. It grew quiet for a long moment before he continued on saying, I mean, I like you too, so it works out. You turn on your side to face him, close enough that your nose was almost brushing up against his. You do? Something was blooming in his chest at your question. He couldn't speak. He couldn't think except nod his head. His heart was pounding so hard that it was the only thing he could hear. Leaning forward, he closed the gap between the two of you, his lips slotting against yours like two puzzle pieces finally connecting together. He scooted closer, his hands resting against your hip as he deepened the kiss. It was hard to tell how long time had passed before something papery fell in between the two of you. You pulled away, blinking as you realized what it was. Before he could react, you grabbed the paper hat and shoved it on your head. His eyes flickered up to where it sat before dropping down to your face and then to your lips. How's it look? You asked him, smirking. It looks good, he replied, wasting no time pressing his lips against yours once more. They got together. They got together. Kissing. Steve and MC kissing in a tree. This is super cute. I loved it. I loved it even more than the first time I read it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I feel good. I feel like I finished at, what time is it right now? At 2:35 in the afternoon, so I'm feeling good. I could probably record one more video before it's like too late. So, woo! I'm on a roll today, baby. I'm doing this. I'm pumped. I'm feeling good. Let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure to go over and check out the author if you really like this fan fiction, because there's plenty more where this came from. And yeah, I'm just happy that Steve and Dempsey got together. Oh, by the way, MC means main character. I got it from Mystic Messenger. I am a total Mystic Messenger fan. I love myself some 707. He is my boy, my baby, my bae, my boyfriend. I wish. But I love him. He's like, ah. But not gonna lie, I kind of fell for Jumin a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But like 707 is my number one. You can't change that. He's my number one red hair boy. I guess anime guys, if they have red hair, it's just like boom, I like them. Oh, you know what? I got totally off topic. This fanfiction, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Super good. Loved it. Super funny. There's a lot of cute moments, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel happy and bubbly. But that's all I have, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. For the third time, I'm pretty sure I said that. But, like, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it, because it was super good. And if I didn't read it the way you liked it, please just, like, go read it yourself. It's like, it's so good. It's just good, you know? You know? I'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a nice day, night, or whenever you're watching this.